Imagine a town where the ground beneath your feet is literally burning, constantly warm, where the air is thick with the heat and smoke of an unending fire, and where the roads, once full of life, are now cracked and barren. Welcome to Centralia, Pennsylvania, America's real-life Silent Hill, a ghost town burning for over 62 years. Centralia was founded in 1866 as a coal mining town, built around two open-pit mines where anthracite coal was extracted. Coal mining was a significant economic driver in the United States back then. Anthracite is the highest rank of coal. It is hard, brittle, and has a black, lustrous appearance, often called hard coal. It contains a high percentage of fixed carbon and a low rate of volatile matter. Nowadays, it has wide applications in various industries, such as water filtration, heating systems, smelting, solvent extraction, metal casting, and much more. Extracted from the town's mines, anthracite coal was highly valued for its heat output back then, contributing to the settlement's rapid growth. Soon, the number of mines increased to 5, with tunnels running near the town. By 1890, Centralia had a population of nearly 3,000 people, most of whom were involved in mining activities, their lives intertwined with the coal mines beneath their feet. After the Great Depression in 1929, the coal mines in Centralia began to shut down, causing the town's economy to collapse. Unemployed miners resorted to illegal coal extraction to provide for their families. Unfortunately, the city never recovered its previous prosperity. But the very resource that built this town would eventually lead to its downfall. If you want to know more about the city's history, we recommend the book Centralia by Daryl Bird Johnson, a saga of this Pennsylvania community. The town has often been tragic and controversial. Beginning with the infamous Molly Maguires, Centralia was confronted with the murder of its founder and an assault upon its Catholic priest, who cursed the town, saying, "One day this town will be erased from the face of the earth." May 2024 marked 62 years since an underground fire in Centralia started. It has yet to be determined precisely how the underground fire started. The most plausible theory is associated with the celebration of Memorial Day in the United States on May 28, 1962. The Department of Environmental Protection also holds this view. To rid Centralia of the stench, the town administration hired several firefighters to burn garbage at a landfill on the ruins of one of the mines. This was illegal in Pennsylvania, but the authorities wanted to prepare better for the national holiday. On May 27, the firefighters did just that. They set fire to all the trash to eliminate the odor. Problems began during the extinguishing process. The fire would not go out. The fire quickly spread into the underground tunnels, where the remaining coal in the mines fed the flames, and the townspeople could not stop it. For about a year, firefighters tried to contain the results of their mistake on their own. In 1963, the authorities sought help from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. They suggested digging a trench to divert the fire, but the administration needed help to cover the $4.5 million cost. The city was left alone with the threat. Over the years, Pennsylvania authorities attempted various methods to extinguish the fire. The first attempt involved excavating underground tunnels to isolate the flames. However, the plan was underfunded and poorly executed, allowing more oxygen to reach the fire and causing it to spread further. Another plan involved flooding the mines with water and crushed rock, but freezing temperatures hampered the operation, and the fire spread by another 700 meters. Every year, residents increasingly realized they were living above a massive fire. Due to the fumes, the settlement was enveloped in a light haze. Townspeople complained of headaches and suffocation. Garden vegetables would burn, and winter heaters were no longer needed. In the years following the fire, residents began to feel its effects. Toxic gases, like carbon monoxide, made the air in the town unbreathable, and the extreme heat caused cracks in the asphalt roads. Some areas became so hot that residents' gardens would spontaneously combust, and many reported constant headaches and respiratory issues due to the gases seeping from the underground. By the early 1970s, people began gradually leaving Centralia. Although most of the residents left Centralia, by the 1980s, a small group of people refused to go. They had learned to live with the fire, even enjoying some unexpected benefits, such as growing vegetables in the middle of winter thanks to the underground heat. In 1979, the owner of a local gas station checked the temperature of the underground tanks and saw 172 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 78 degrees Celsius on the thermometer. He immediately removed the fuel and abandoned the gas station. Soon after, it was demolished. This was the first significant victim of the burning town. Then, the asphalt on the highway began to crack, and geysers periodically erupted from the ground. A dramatic event in 1981 marked the turning point for Centralia's evacuation. A 12-year-old boy named Todd Domboski nearly died due to an underground fire. A nearly 164-foot, that 50-meter sinkhole appeared in his backyard, and his older brother saved him from falling into it. It happened at the same time that a congressman was touring nearby. The incident attracted media attention. Articles and reports about Centralia were published and broadcast nationwide. Warning signs appeared throughout the town, and various U.S. departments conducted temperature and chemical measurements. Tests near the sinkhole, which turned out to be a collapsed mine, showed lethal levels of carbon monoxide. To relieve pressure, more than 2,000 boreholes were drilled throughout the city. Over time, everyone realized the town was doomed. The state authorities offered to buy the land and homes from the residents and relocate them to another area. By 1992, this process was complete. 1,000 people moved away from the burning Centralia, and more than 500 homes were demolished. The relocation cost $42 million, nearly 10 times more than digging the trench in the 1960s. The ghost town of Centralia inspired the Silent Hill video game franchise and film. The creators admitted that Centralia's dark and apocalyptic landscape influenced the game's fictional city, with cracked roads and dense smoke faithfully mirroring the destruction caused by the underground fire. The town has remained in popular culture. Screenwriter Roger Avary, who adapted the Silent Hill video game into a film, admitted that he was inspired by Centralia when creating the town's image. An iconic scene from Season 4 of Stranger Things reflects the apocalyptic atmosphere of Centralia. In the final episode, the ground begins to crack and burn under the streets of Hawkins, just like in Centralia, and the fissures emit smoke and heat. This scene symbolizes chaos and destruction, similar to what happened in the authentic ghost town. Not everyone left their native land, but the town became nearly deserted. 10 people remain in Centralia today. Only the cemetery, a few houses, and an almost untouched church remained. In 2002, the U.S. Postal Service revoked Centralia's zip code. The city's highway is cracked, and the surrounding land is scorched. The fire stretches 7.5 miles, that 12 kilometers, and burns 300 feet below ground, that 91 meters, beneath 5.8 square miles, that 15 square kilometers. Experts predict that the underground fire could continue to burn for another 250 years. The ghost town has become an unofficial tourist attraction. Visitors have covered almost the entire safe section of the road with graffiti. Visiting Centralia, you will feel the warmth beneath your feet. Here are some comments of people who visited the town. I went through Centralia about 18 months ago during a road trip. It really is creepy driving or walking down those streets leading nowhere, and realizing that they used to be surrounded by homes and families. I did walk down about a quarter mile of the graffiti highway, and most of the markings aren't obscene at all. Maybe strangest of all are the huge support, which had to be installed to keep the few remaining residences upright. They used to be row houses and were never designed to stand on their own. I love this place. Such a nice place to ride. It's really cool to go there when it's snowing. There you can find the hot spots on RT61. Only eerie thing is the cemetery never got snowed on when I went there because of the heat underground. I live 1 hour from Centralia. It's really dangerous to go. People fall in holes more often than you think there. A friend of my sister fell about 40 feet down. Luckily was rescued. I've been here multiple times since the fire started, and it's quite eerie and never gets old. Streets go to nowhere, and there are blocks full of old foundations, almost an apocalypse setting. The highway has now been covered with dirt, unfortunately, as too many people littered and off-roaded there. Go figure how dirt is gonna stop that. But before, there were large fissures and sometimes even 5 feet drops in the highway. Quite a sight. I'm glad I saw it before it was gone. Despite the colorful drawings, much of the town still looks grim. Journalist David Decock, who has written dozens of articles about the settlement, noted that it becomes harder to recognize the place in Pennsylvania yearly. David Decock writes in his book, Fire Underground, the ongoing tragedy of the Centralia mine fire. You see roads leading nowhere. Power lines stretch along deserted streets, the remnants of the former town. After demolishing the houses, empty areas are overgrown with trees and grass. I think in 50 years, there will be little evidence left that people once lived in Centralia.